So, hey guys, new ban list update here for Master Duel. And honestly, I'm surprised the Artifact Scythe is not only lasted this long in Master Duel, but it's also getting banned. Who has been Scythe locked within like the last, I don't know, let's say 3 months? And how many times has it actually happened realistically? And also the fact that Bestials exist right now and they're kind of floating about. Is Scythe that bad? Huh. Well, right now, anyways. And then Abyss Dweller. Well, yeah, this is kind of in the same category as Scythe. So, the problem with both Artifact, Scythe, and Abyss Dweller to begin with, well, if we read Abyss Dweller's text, while this card has a material attached that was originally water, all water monsters you control gain 500 attack, doesn't really do much. Soft once per turn. Quick effect, you can detach one material from this card. Your opponent cannot activate any card effects in their graveyard this turn. So even if this included yourself, here's a bit of a predicament. So this is an XYZ monster, right? So in order for me to use this effect, there is no chance in hell I will be able to use this effectively if I am going second, assuming I would need this effect going second for whatever reason. This isn't even doable. So the only way we could really special summon Abyss Dweller is if we slap 2 level 4 monsters on the board, and then we're going to assume these monsters must surely have no effect, because otherwise, how would we turn them into Abyss Dweller? Like, aside from special summoning themselves, why else would I not pop them on the spot? Like, for example, let's say one of the level 4s we're attempting to use will be, let's assume Moyi. So we do like, I don't know, special summon Shathana, normal summon maybe like Moyi or Taya. Why would I not just like pop Taya or just like you know? Well, it's not like necessarily Taya. A better example would be like Vanquish Soul Razin. So we normal summon Razin. Razin activates an effect to search. You'll probably tag it out later or use it to link off into the link one, the Rock of the Vanquisher. Why wouldn't I just remove that from the field? So if you had Pantera plus Rosin, you could make a Abyss Dweller, right? But why would I even remotely let you do that? I would never, right? But I mean, if you're going first, much harder to stop you from making a Abyss Dweller, and you can just drop this, and then my deck could be cooked. So that's something. But because of how niche and specific Abyss Dweller is, I think Abyss Dweller is honestly more fine than the other two here. But alright. Artifact Scythe is actually better now than it was before in the sense that we have Viscerals, so it's a little bit less ban worthy than before, so it's got me confused why we're just randomly banning this now. Kind of the same deal with Dweller, but alright, whatever. Artifact Scythe's effect during your opponent's turn. If this set card in the spell and trap zone is destroyed and sent to your graveyard, special summon it. And if this card is special summoned during your opponent's turn, your opponent cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn. So this card, purely useless going second, only useful going first. So once again, these both of these are kind of in the category of, I guess, floodgates that are only useful going first. But the one thing that makes these both a little more fair, not so much Abyssal, because Abyssal is a little bit harder to deal with, in my opinion, than Artifact Scythe, is just simply the fact that both these cards require a certain amount of setup for the most part, except for Artifact Scythe. Technically, I mean, if you just use Artifact Sanctum, that kind of works, but it's also kind of trash, requiring you to special summon an artifact monster from your deck. So the open site, it doesn't really work, and then that gets all muddy because ratios and stuff. But that's not the main point of today. So all right, this effect honestly. Probably not even that strong. I don't think this needs to be banned, like, right now. So, unless they release something, or they're releasing something soon that can really scythe block and make Dweller or something, I don't get it. What was the point of this? Because Scythe now has to contend with Bestial. So before, if you were to Scythe block, depending on when you were to do it, let's say we do it in the draw phase, Scythe, you can Called by Scythe, you can Imperm Scythe, you can, um, right now, you can also Bestial Scythe, because your opponent definitely controls monsters. So, yeah, you have a decent, well, a bunch of decent ways to out Scythe like that. And then on top of that, you also have, I guess, like just hand traps to prevent your opponent from setting up whatever it is they're going to use to pop the Scythe. So it's like genuinely not as bad as Dweller, but then Dweller's not as good as Scythe because it's just not able to hit as many decks. So, uh, yeah, kind of interesting in those regards, I guess. I'm surprised this is getting hit, really. And then Dice Smasher, this is also a little bit weird that this is getting hit, in my opinion, to an extent, because, like, it, well, yeah, I guess. Well, let's go over the fact first. Once per turn during your main phase 1, you detach 2 materials from this card. Each player rolls a 6-sided die twice. The player with the higher total cannot activate monster effects or declare an attack until the end of the next turn. Once per turn, if either player rolls a 6-sided die or dice while this card has material, you treat one of the results as 7. So apparently the math on this says that, like, if you're able to have 3 materials, then the odds of you resolving Paradise Smasher and having your opponent just not able to activate monster effects, it's apparently 93%. So you have a 7% chance to basically not get bent over by Paradise Smasher. So if I recall correctly, this is about the same odds, maybe not like bar for bar, but around the same range as Tier Limit being Tier 1 in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and just like completely whiffing and hitting nothing off of like a mill 3 or 5. You know, basically you need that to happen for Paradise Smasher to yeah, just not hit. So it basically almost always hits. So that part, kind of problematic. And then the brutality of this technically making it so your opponent cannot activate any monster effects on the current turn, and then the next turn. Not that the first turn is fully necessary, but yeah, this is basically like just Shockmaster again, but now with a 7% chance to whiff or something like that. Was it 7 or 13%? I mean, honestly, it's like about the same. So, whatever. All right. So, the one thing that is the saving grace of this card, I guess, to an extent, is that, well, you need to use 2 plus level 5 monsters to make this. So, that would be 3 or above, I guess, in terms of level 5 monsters. And you know what? This card will definitely be problematic regardless of the future. And the floodgate effect on this is actually just more disgusting than Scythe and Dweller. But then this also brings into question, like, why aren't we hitting more floodgates than just these ones? So Power Sinkstone, that's still in the game at 3. That card's disgusting. Why is that still in the game? Well, I guess the hope is that everything will get hit eventually. So honestly, right now though, I think somehow that, well, it's hard to say honestly which one is more healthy between Dweller and Scythe, but somehow this new card, unsurprisingly, probably the more disgusting out of these ones in terms of the floodgate effect. In terms of being able to pull off, I think Artifact Scythe is the most generic, and then the Dweller is not fully generic. So is that a problem in of itself that a floodgate is not generic enough so that not every deck can equally abuse it? And also, of course, the Abyss Dweller's actual effect is probably the weakest. So I think Dweller is probably the one you would have the most solid argument for keeping around. So, alright. Next, we have Gateway of the Six, which, honestly, what's the difference between one Gateway of the Six and three, anyways? They're not going to be able to loop, like, harder, are they? Like, doesn't this just add Gateway of the Six? And this is, like, fairly generic, anyways. Not really sure what you want me to do about, like, Gateway of the Six, though. Um, I guess you can, like, Ghost Ogre this, or, maybe Bistral, the target they're trying to add from the graveyard. But this doesn't really target, so if they have another target in their deck, it's not really going to work. So if they have multiple targets on the graveyard, that Bistral also doesn't work, I guess. Target one Xian effect monster in your graveyard. I don't think this ever gets activated, so that shouldn't matter. And then let's see, anything else? Well, no, not really. Since you can already search Gateway of the Six, like, what does having three actually accomplish when it was legal to begin with? Like, you're just going to open four of them? Is this even searchable? Is it? Well, I mean, I guess you can just draw through your whole deck. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I guess Six Samurai can, like, loop hella hard, but they loop hella hard with, what, one gateway or three. That doesn't matter. As long as they have access to at least one gateway, it will just loop either way. So it's like, alright then, I guess. So, yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.